off a daily fantasy. His number too high, then I'm probably fading him. He been on the road, he gon' eat up my salary. I hit up by, he gon' lie before lock. Play back to back, then I probably won't pick on the DFS bachelor, good as it gets. Build a few liners and hit me a leg. He had a good game, but it might be a trick. Log in the Slack so I know who to pick. Sharing our liners, we all gon' get rich. New to this game, you should come to the pad. You might want some cash and get a good laugh. DFS sports, we gon' run up a bag. He heard every game and it's making me mad. You buying your lineups, I think you a cheater. DFS bachelor, he the new leader. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Bachelor Pad. I, of course, am your host of DFS Bachelor, and we're going to go over our Fanduel and Draftkings NBA slate for Tuesday. I almost said Friday. I wish it was. Tuesday, January 28th. It's an 8-game slate. Of course, the Lakers game, Lakers-Clippers game has been postponed. R.I.P. Kobe. Cheers to you, man. Still heavily on the minds of all of us NBA fans. It's just... right now, it's not pleasant to talk NBA. I'm not going to lie. It just seems kind of rough. First things first, thank you for all your support. I truly do appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the team. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Get access to all of our NBA content, our final NFL video. Of course, NBA will be going all the way through the middle of June. Other sports, might do some golf. XFL, I will be covering. XFL DFS, 100% will be covering on this channel. I'm really excited for the XFL. So there is all of that as well. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Be part of our weekly $25 PayPal giveaway sponsored by Draft Dashboard. We announce the winners every Monday. Draft Dashboards where we're going over all the stats, usage, projections, points per minute, points per dollar, hit percentage. You have the lineup optimizer, you have the cash game lineup optimizer, mass lineup generator, etc. You can get access to this tool for every sport as well as my player pool, cheat sheets, etc. Simply by clicking that link in the video description below. You can try Draft Dashboard for 30 days for $1. And more importantly, if there's days where I just don't have time to get a video out, I still always have player pools, projections updated, etc. right here on the site. So it's a way, even if I don't do a video, if you wish to pick this horrible brain of mine, this aging, decrepit, slightly perverted brain of mine, you can do that when I don't make a video. So there we go. So we got like top 4 or 5 at each position. Let's get started. Also, don't forget to check out our Fantasy Draft NBA video is also out for Rake Free DFS. That video is out right now as well. So Luka, of course, Luka's always in play. He has a great history against Phoenix. The problem is it's a back-to-back. He's very expensive, and there's not a lot of great value right now on the slate. Of course, throughout the day as injuries and stuff and illnesses and everything comes in. Illnesses do come in, unfortunately, sometimes. Throughout the day, some value could open up. You can follow me on Twitter at DFS Bachelor. Jason Tatum remains doubtful, so that's good. We just got that update right now. So Trae Young, I like Trae Young a lot. 10K on Fanduel, 10-3 on DraftKings. Toronto is 8th against opposing point guards, and this game is up in Canada, in Toronto. But you could see his last 2 games against Toronto has absolutely lit them up, a 57 and a 68. That 68 was just, a week and a half ago or so. I like Trae Young a lot tonight against Toronto. Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid could return. So if Joel Embiid does return, even on a limited basis, it certainly hurts the value of Ben Simmons. But right now against Golden State, who is allowing the second most fantasy points in the league to opposing point guards, you got to love Ben Simmons. 9-8 on Fanduel, 10K on DraftKings, a 53, a 53, and a 60 in his last 3 against Golden State. With anytime Jason Tatum's going to be out, I like Kemba Walker. That's where the bulk of the scoring was probably going to come from. Now, of course, Jaylen Brown or Gordon Hayward could eat into that. But Kemba without Tatum has been huge. A 61 and a 54 his last 2 games. A 51 a last time out against Miami. Miami's on a back-to-back, so you could see no Jimmy Butler, and they're still thin in the backcourt anyways. I think Kemba Walker, big-time upside. 8K on FanDuel, 7-8 on DraftKings. And, of course, Kyle Lowry for some savings. I just still think he's too cheap. Now, he kind of let us down that last game against Atlanta with a 28, but the games before that, a 43, a 59, a 39. Atlanta 24th against opposing point guards. A paced-up game for Toronto as well. I like Kyle Lowry. Eric Bledsoe, 5'8 on FanDuel, 6'6 on DraftKings. Washington 23rd against opposing point guards. All he's done his last 2 games against Washington is put up a 51 and a 49. Love that price for Eric Bledsoe. Then when you get down here to the value, there just isn't a lot. Ish Smith maybe at 4.8 and 4.5. DeAnthony Melton's pretty consistent, plays well against Denver. Monte Morris against Memphis in a paced-up game. He's 4.9 on FanDuel, 5.4 on DraftKings. Memphis is 21st against opposing point guards. And if Ricky Rubio is indeed out tonight, he's questionable right now. A guy like Javon Carter could be a value play down there at point guard as well. Let's go to shooting guards. At shooting guards, Devin Booker, especially if Rubio's out. Dallas 5th against shooting guards. Of course, Dallas on a back-to-back, going to be a little bit tired, etc. Only put up a 36 his last time out against Dallas. The game before that, a 47. 8.7 on FanDuel, 9.1 on DraftKings. I think Devin Booker has big upside. He's been playing really well as of late. Against Philly, now they are 3rd against opposing shooting guards, but there's no Josh Richardson, making life a bit easier for a guy like D'Angelo Russell, who is the clear focal point of the offense in Golden State. He's 8K on FanDuel and 7.6 on DraftKings. As you know, the last few weeks, DraftKings has really tightened up their pricing and has been a little bit more stingy than FanDuel, actually a lot more stingy than FanDuel. So this is one of those rare instances where we get a guy with 50-point upside a little bit cheaper. On DraftKings, I like D'Angelo Russell despite the tough matchup. In his last 3 games against Philly, he does have a 38, a 45, and then a disappointing 20. Of course, we're looking for more in that 45 range. I do like Jrue Holiday's price. Jrue Holiday, Van Fleet certainly in play for me as well. But how about Devontae Graham, especially on FanDuel, down at 6.4 on FanDuel? That's just simply too cheap for the guy with his upside. He's 7.4 on DraftKings, a little bit more difficult to fit him in. That's what she said. 32 his last time out against the Knicks. The real concern about this game, there are some nice plays, like we're going to talk about a value play in a moment, is just the pace. Both these teams play at a very slow pace, 2 of the slower teams in the league. So that's, you just worry about the fewer possessions, and fewer positions. Just happens over time. There's just less positions that you just feel like doing. You know, it's harder to get to contort your body that way. I digress. The Knicks 19th against opposing shooting guards. I do like some upside for Dylan Brooks, even though it's a tough matchup against Denver. Then for some value, guy like Malik Monk. Now, the thing with Charlotte is they're very sporadic with their rotations, Batum and Bacon and Monk and all these fucking guys. But last couple of games, he's been absolutely red hot. I played 21 and 33 minutes in those games, put up a 26 and a 48. At 4.4 and 4.8, there is some tournament upside there as well. One value guy who looks pretty consistent tonight, a couple of them down here at shooting guard. Delon Wright, 4.2 on FanDuel, 4.1 on DraftKings. Phoenix 26th against opposing point guards, shooting guards. It is a back-to-back, so maybe his minutes increase a little bit. Has a 39 and an 18 his last couple against Phoenix. His last 3 games overall, a 24, a 27, and a 35. I like the upside for Delon Wright. You just got to hope he gets the minutes. Torrey Craig's been playing a ton of minutes for Denver against Memphis. He's down here. He had a disappointing game his last time out, but the 2 before that were in the 30s. So there's some upside there. JJ Redick at 4.1 and 4.4. It comes a lot more murky in New Orleans now with Zion back. All that fantasy goodness we were getting earlier in the year from Ingram and Holiday, Alonzo Ball, Josh Hart, Favors. A lot of that's going to Zion Williamson as those minutes ramp up. Small forward. Giannis, of course, against Washington. Washington 20th against small forwards. Giannis is going to play the 3, the 4, the 5. He has nothing less than a 51 in his last 4 games against Washington, including a 73 and a 63. Of course, you got to like Giannis. Tonight, Pascal Siakam, one of my favorite plays on the slate. Atlanta allowing the 3rd most fantasy points in the league to opposing small forwards. A 63, a 50, and then a 32 a couple weeks back in that last game they played. Remember, he was on a minutes limit coming back from that injury, so I do like Siakam's price on both sites. Tonight, Tobias Harris, more so if Joel Embiid is out. It's still a nice matchup. They're 19th against small forwards. His last 5 games against Golden State, only 1 game under 37, and that was a 31. 40, 50-point upside at 7.4 on both sites. I could go there. Kelly Oubre under 7K with his 50-point upside. I like Kelly Oubre. Dallas allowing the 3rd most fantasy points. They're actually tied with Atlanta, allowing the 3rd most fantasy points to small forwards. 6'8 and 6'9. Put up a 47 his last time out against Dallas. And then for some value, especially if Ricky Rubio misses, Michael Bridges' upside goes way up. He's 4.6 on FanDuel, 3.9 on DraftKings. Love that value on DraftKings. Talked about Dallas' struggles against small forwards. Has a 42, a 22, a 26, a 26, and then a 6 in his last 5 games. So there is some concern there, but especially if Rubio's out, very likely he jumps into the starting lineup, or it could be Javon Carter. It is something to keep an eye on. But the minutes will be there even if he doesn't start. He's playing 25 to 30 minutes every night. I do like Michael Bridges for some value. Of course, if they do decide to rule Embiid out, Matisse Thybulle, he'll see minutes. Cam Reddish and Anunoby will see about 20 minutes. So there's some guys down here that you could take a shot on in tournaments. Let's go to power forwards. Honestly, I think this is kind of an ugly slate. Not a whole lot of plays where I'm like, ooh, I definitely want to play that guy. There just isn't a lot of that in this slate. Julius Randle, 7-4 on Fanduel is too cheap. He's 8-6 on DraftKings, too expensive. Charlotte 19th against power forwards. They're terrible against centers. I believe dead last in the league or close to dead last. He put up a 57 and a 28 his last 2 games out against Charlotte. He's been playing well as of late. Last 5 games, nothing less than 31. His last couple of games, a 45 and a 39. So there is some upside for Julius Randle. Keep an eye on the Kevin Love news. It wouldn't surprise me on a back-to-back if he rested tonight, making Larry Nance a solid play. We'll talk about Nance here in a moment. Zion. I think Zion's in play. The minutes have ramped up from 18 to 20 and now to 27. If he's getting over 30 minutes, he has big time upside against a Cleveland defense that's not very good. They're 11th against power forwards, but they're just terrible everywhere. Zion obviously can do everything on the court. 6-3 on FanDuel, 7-2 on DraftKings. I do like Zion Williamson tonight. The aforementioned Larry Nance, 5-4 on FanDuel, 5-5 on DraftKings. Of course, I like this play a whole hell of a lot more if Kevin Love is out and he's in the starting lineup. He's been playing really well as of late. 4 straight games of 27 or more, 3 straight of 30 or more. He's got a 41 and a 32 in that time frame. A paced-up game against a fast New Orleans team. I think Larry Nance is in play tonight. And for Denver, Michael Porter Jr., I like the upside. I don't love the minutes, but I love the upside. We've seen his last 4 games that he's played, a 45, a 31, a 28, and a 26. Memphis allowing the 4th most fantasy points in the league to opposing power forwards in a paced-up game. For Denver on the road, I do think Michael Porter Jr. is a solid play tonight. And then when you look at the value, I mean, it is absolutely atrocious. Spellman, bleh. Dario Saric, hit or miss. Marvin Williams all of a sudden played 28 minutes the last game. He has a nice history against the Knicks. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson misses. Maybe you see a few minutes for Chris Boucher. I mean, it's pretty ugly down here. Not a lot of value at the power forward position tonight. Not a lot of value on this slate, in my opinion. I think it's a difficult slate, kind of an ugly slate tonight. At center, Jokic against Memphis put up a 60 his last time out against Memphis. I could go there. But I do like DeAndre Ayton against Dallas. 7-7 on FanDuel, 8-2 on DraftKings. Dallas is 24th against opposing centers. He's been on a nice roll. His last 5 games, he's got a couple of duds, a 25 and a 29, but he's also got a 51, a 47, and a 52. That's what we're looking for. I think Ayton in a good matchup against a Dallas team on a back-to-back tonight. Brook Lopez, 5-3 on FanDuel, 4-8 on DraftKings. Washington allowing the 3rd most fantasy points in the league to opposing centers. I think Brook Lopez is going to be in a ton of my lineups, especially on DraftKings. His last 3 against Washington, a 35, a 41, and then a 22. But at that price, especially on DK at 4-8, I think he's a nice center option. And another guy at center who I think is underpriced in a nice matchup is Marc Gasol. 5K on FanDuel, 4-9 on DraftKings. Atlanta 21st against opposing centers. We know he's got the 40-point upside. He only put up a 21 in that game a couple weeks back, but you could see he's been around 30. If he gets you 30, 35, you're very happy at that price on both sides in a good matchup and a paced-up game at home in Toronto. I like Gasol. And for some value, you could see the debut tonight for Willie Cauley-Stein against Phoenix, who's 26th against centers. I don't hate that. Marquise Chris is going to see more minutes now with the trade of Cauley-Stein. He's 4-5 on FanDuel, 4-3 on DraftKings. Philly's 2nd against centers. No matter what, even if Embiid misses, it's still tough sledding against Al Horford inside. But I do think Marquise Chris could be some value. Cody Zeller at 4-2. Thomas Bryant started out great the other night and then fell apart. His last game against Milwaukee, he did put up a 55. But obviously, Jan Mahimi has taken that starting job because, Jan Mahimi is so fucking good, right? And that's it. That's our look at all 5 positions. Again, you can get access to this tool, my player pool, as it evolves throughout the day, cheat sheet, projections, etc. Click that link in the video description below. You can try Draft Dashboard for 30 days for $1. When you do, how you find my player pools, you simply click your Watched Players tab from the home screen or from over here on the sub menu on the left. You can set your exposures here in the mass exposure thing for the mass lineup generator. You can lock those exposures in, like if you know you want Ben Simmons in 40% of your lineups, you can type in the 40 right here. That right now, that is the maximum he can be in, and if you want to lock him into 40% of your lineups, just hit that lock button right there. You can do all that. Click the link, try it for 30 days for $1. When you do, you'll see a blue box at the top that says Watch DFS Bachelor's Picks, as well as a timestamp from when it was last updated. So my player pool is now activated there. We can use it in the lineup optimizer. We'll make a quick sample lineup. Of course, we've got 9-10 hours until lock. You can see up here, you can choose the cash game optimizer or the GPP optimizer. It's very handy. So quick early look here on Fanduel. We have Bledsoe, Kemba Walker, Delon Wright, D'Angelo Russell, Tobias Harris, Pascal Siakam, Zion, Julius Randle, Brook Lopez. I think that's a solid lineup for right now. Let's go over to DraftKings. Again, these are just sample lineups. I know so many window lickers that will just come on here. Title of the sex tape. Click to the end of the video, just see the sample lineup, and then lock it in, and then be pissed at me. It's like, come on, man, use your fucking brain. You know? Like, I can't fix stupid. I cannot fix your stupidity. You know? I can't do it. So they gave us Morris, Wright, Porter, Harris, Zion, Graham, Chris, and Siakam. I'm doing a lot of changes here. For one, Michael Bridges at 3.9 here. Get some value. I like that. I'm not paying 5.4 for Monty Morris. I'll pay the 4.8, but I'm not paying the 5.4. Do like Kemba. There's Russell at 7.6. I think that's cheap. Delon Wright at 4.9. I don't mind that either. Bit expensive for Zion. Again, I like that price for either Gasol or Lopez down here. Get some savings. Now we can start paying up. Like we can get Mark, and I do think the 1,000 more for Graham's a bit much as well. We can come up here now and get to Devin Booker if we so desire to do so. Kemba Walker here at 7.8. Then we can upgrade Marquise Chris. Now you can get to your Michael Porters, etc. I think that's pretty solid. Russell, Wright, Bridges, Harris, Gasol, Walker, Porter, Pascal Siakam. I don't mind going to Jaren Jackson or down to Larry Nance and then upgrading Delon Wright. Lots of ways you can go. Click the link. Try it for 30 days. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, be part of our weekly PayPal giveaway. Thank you all so much again. Cheers to you all. May the fantasy gods be with you. R.I.P. Kobe. We're going to continue to tribute to Kobe. I think I'm going to do 24 straight days of him on the thumbnail as a little tribute to Kobe. Love Kobe. Prayers to all the families. We got all the victims yesterday, and prayers and thoughts to all the families. Just a horrible, it's a little bit tough to be an NBA fan right now. I appreciate you all so much. Good luck tonight, and we'll see you all tomorrow with our NBA videos for tomorrow. Thank you all again. Goodbye, folks.